You can actually join me for this one. A fantastic color combination. I am having so much fun. Not sure here. The struggle I just went through. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a really fun sewing project that I actually hope you guys might join me on. And not just in the form of watching this video. You can actually join me for this one. So the V&A Museum in London has a fashion history collection, and a few years ago they hosted an exhibition on Mary Quant, who was a notable 1960s fashion designer who created lots of fun dresses and clothing pieces for young women. So to go along with this exhibition, they also published a couple of patterns, sewing patterns on their website, which you can actually download for free. They are available as PDFs and you can print them out at home in different formats and sew along, and that is what we are doing today. I have printed out the pattern for the Mary Quant inspired mini dress. Let me grab it real quick. Here it is. I had it printed at a local coffee shop and it looks really fun. I don't usually sew a lot of 1960s shapes because I feel like other shapes are more flattering to my body type, but 1960s clothing is super fun. And I think I have the perfect fabric to go with this dress, and that is this one right here. It is a quilt style pattern, I guess. Just this lovely dark green cotton with a quilt print. So you have all of these little squares, diamond shapes, with different patterns, and I just love the coloring of this. Pink and green is just a fantastic color combination, so I'm really excited about this. So this is what I want to use to make my Mary Quant inspired mini dress. I have linked the page on the V&A Museum website where you can download the PDF pattern, and you can also download the instructions for this sewing pattern there, and they also have video instructions. So I honestly think everyone can make this. It's a fairly basic pattern. The instructions are super thorough and detailed, and they take you along every single step. Even if you're still a beginner at sewing, I feel like this one you might be able to do and you'll be left with a really cute result. If you do feel like joining me here today, go to the link in the description box, download this pattern, print it out, and yeah, let's start sewing together. So the instructions also come with a size chart and measurements, so I know which size I need. So I think I'm gonna start by just cutting those out. Oh, by the way, this pattern, I just keep going on about it, sorry, but this pattern comes with loads of variations. They have 3 different collar types, 2 different neck options. They have a sleeveless version and 2 sleeve variations and 2 pocket versions. So loads of options for mixing and matching, and depending on what fabric you choose for this dress, you could go in all kinds of different directions with it. I think for this make, I'm gonna go with the round collar with the keyhole neckline and gathered sleeves, because it is of course later in the year and I still want to be able to wear this for a bit. Okay, let's cut out the pattern pieces and get started. Really excited about this one. Alright, I've cut out all the pattern pieces and I have traced my facings. So the facing patterns need to be traced off of the original pattern, so I just used the leftover paper that I had to trace those and cut those out. So I now have my pocket facing, this is my neck facing, my front neck facing, and there's a back neck facing as well. I have also chosen a contrasting fabric to go with this, so I have decided to make my collar, the tops of my pockets and the cuffs, I think, out of this white to kind of offset this rather busy green pattern. I think making everything out of this will be a little bit too much, and I think this white contrasting fabric will just break it up really nicely. So next step is to lay everything out on my fabric, hope and pray that everything fits, and then cut out my pattern pieces from my fabric. But I think it should fit. I think I have plenty of this, so yeah, let's do it. My prep work is finally done. I have transferred all of the pattern markings onto my pieces. I have cut out my interfacing and ironed it on, so I have interfacing on all of the white bits, all of the accent bits around the edges, and on all of the facings. So those are all nice and sturdy. And I am now ready to start assembly. So excited, I love this print so much. I think it's gonna be a really fun dress. You start by stay stitching along the edges and then sewing the shoulder seams together. Now the shoulder seams are attached, it's time to start working on the pockets. So I have the facings here. Let's see, how do these go on? This way. So I'm gonna attach those right sides together, meaning that my interfacing is lying on top now. I'm only gonna stitch around this top curve here and leave the rest open, because that's where it's gonna flip inside out. And this bit right here is gonna be sewn into the side seam eventually, so that doesn't need to be attached yet either. Good morning, it is day 2 and I am really excited to keep going. For some reason I am having so much fun with this project. I think it's just, first of all, the super clear instructions. I feel like I'm breezing through this. Secondly, I'm just so excited about all of you guys being able to also make this thing. So anyways, let's continue. Yesterday off camera, last thing I did was add buttons to my pockets. So I sat here for a bit trying to find the right shade of green in my button stash before realizing that no, of course, these buttons need to be pink. Pockets are done. Next step is to attach these to the front of the dress. And then they want you to do a test fitting. So I'm gonna just pin the side seams of my dress, put it on, see if I like how everything fits, and then it's time to attach the side seams and we'll be able to move on to the next step. So I'm just gonna pin these down first so that I can still move them around once I have the dress on, and go from there. I think the fit is fine, honestly. I need to remember this is a 60s design, so obviously it's not supposed to have a very defined waist. I'm used to much tighter waistlines, so I'm kind of tempted to pinch this right here, but I'm not gonna do that. This is 60s. Straight figure. The only thing is there's a bit of like excess fabric, I feel, in the back. Or maybe that is because it's too tight around the butt. I'm not sure why this is happening and what's going on there, but I'm also not sure how to fix this without ruining the design. I do know that you're supposed to add a belt to this bit of the pattern, and I didn't want to do the belt originally because I don't feel like it's necessary with an already busy print like this. But if that actually helps, you know, combat this, then I might do that. I'm not sure here, but yeah, again, 60s designs, fairly straight. So I think this is all right. I'm just gonna sew it all together. The button placement feels good as well. Sits right on my hips. Let's sew this up. said I was gonna attach the side seams. That was a lie. Apparently, about everything else comes first. So I finished my collar. It was really simple, just your basic collar. Attach these right sides together, flip them inside out, and then attach the whole thing to the collar bit, the way it's gonna go in the end. Wrong side to right side, I guess. I also made a little button loop on the front here. And the next step is to put in my facings. Honesty demands that I tell you about the struggle I just went through. So basically my collar came out a little bit too long, which set off a series of a lot of trouble. Basically my facing wouldn't fit, I had to go back, unpick certain bits, redo them, and in the end I kind of just got it in how it would go in. It's far from perfect, it has folds and just ugly lumpy bits, but you know what, from the outside it looks alright. The only thing that does still remain is that somehow my button loop ended up on the top, and also this bit of collar is now stitched into the side of the facing. So I'm gonna do something unconventional here and simply attach the button to the top of the collar so that it sits like this, and that way I can deal with both the oddly placed button loop as well as the collar that just won't allow for a button to go underneath here because there is no more underneath here. So I'm just gonna do that, and then the next step is to start working on the sleeves, which should hopefully be a little bit easier. I can't believe I'm saying this, because sleeves are usually not the easy part of any sewing project. It's in, it's done. I decided to forego understitching because I simply cannot be bothered anymore, and also there isn't enough seam allowance left to do that with. I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna go off of the suggested order of assembly here because I always feel like it's much easier to finish sleeves before they are attached than it is to, you know, first sewing your sleeves and then have to finish them with the whole dress attached to them. So I'm just gonna finish my sleeves now. I have the tops are darted, the bottom is gather stitched, so now I'm ready to attach the cuffs to the sleeves. I'm gonna attach the cuffs and then just slip the sleeves into the dress. I am really bummed about the way that collar went, just because it was so easily avoidable. If I just hadn't made the collar too long, and I didn't realize it was gonna be too long, but yeah, it is what it is. It'll be fine. I'm just gonna go ahead, try and finish as much of this dress as possible today, and then I can come back to it tomorrow and see if I can maybe fix that collar, or if it's not as bad as I think it is right now. That's usually the way of things. Once you come back to it with a fresh eye, it's usually not that bad. For now, I'm just going to continue with the rest of the process and try to make sure that I don't mess anything else up. Good morning once again. It is day 3 and I am ready to finish this dress. It's almost... I attached the sleeves yesterday, so the last thing I did. Honestly, the whole easing sleeves into arm size thing, it's never really worked for me. I've never been able to make it work right in a way that it doesn't look like it's just gathered. Honestly, usually if a sleeve is slightly too big, I end up just doing little pleats on top of the shoulder. I think it looks nice enough, creates a tiny poof that I think is pretty cute, so that's what I did for this one as well. And I actually think it came out pretty nice. So yeah, everything's looking good. Honestly, the last thing I need to do is to hem the dress, and I think after that is done, I'm gonna go back to this neckline and see if I can improve this. I would like to try the dress on, see how it lies, because I feel like I may have pulled some things in wrong directions at the top here when I was trying to insert that facing. So just to be sure, I will try it on and see if anything needs improving there and if I can do that. Let's hem this first. Should be simple enough. And then see what I can improve. I was not expecting to love it this much, but this is such a fun dress. I love the slightly oversized collar and the fun pockets with the buttons and just everything about it. I actually even really like the cut, which is less fit and flare than I normally wear, but I think it's cute. It's really cute. The length is also a little bit shorter than I normally would go for, but it just works really well with the overall cut of the dress. And the sleeves I absolutely adore. I might just use this sleeve pattern in more of my projects because it's perfect. The length is perfect as well for my arm length. I love that it doesn't have any zipper or any closure aside from this little button, which, by the way, I think it looks pretty cute sewn on top of the collar. It's not something I normally would have done, but I think it actually works, emphasizes the button a little bit more, and of course these are also sewn onto the white, so I think that just ties everything together nicely, and yeah, I think it works, and it disguises the fact that I messed up this facing. In certain positions that there is a little bit of pull on this fabric here, I must have stretched one of the two fabrics while I was inserting the facing. I just generally messed up on the facing. Busy patterns tend to disguise a lot of minor issues like this because they distract a lot and pull the eye away from any faults that the dress might have. So I am super satisfied with this one. I am really excited to see your guys' rendition of this dress. Again, the link to the pattern and the instructions on everything is in the description box below, so you can go ahead and download it, print it out. It's not the easiest dress I've ever made. This bit right here around the collar and the facing and everything was a little bit harder to do, but it's tedious, not necessarily difficult or complicated, and the pattern walks you through it really well. I still do think that you can do this as a beginner. The overall shape of the dress is fairly simple, and I did do the more complicated sleeves on this. The other sleeve pattern is much simpler. If you do decide to make this, definitely send me a picture somehow through Instagram or tag me in a photo somewhere. I would really love to see. I am gonna try and figure out how I can make this a little bit warmer and keep wearing it throughout autumn and winter because I absolutely adore it, and I don't want to wait until spring to be able to wear this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for lots more sewing content and other fun adventures. If you would like to support me through Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for your support. There is another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you for watching once again, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!